All right, team. The final CrossFit Open workout is here for 2026, so 26.3, and it is yuck. Um, phew, 16-minute time cap. So for most people, 99.9% of people, it's going to be a 16-minute AMRAP. 2 rounds, 12 burpees over the bar, 12 cleans, 12 burpees over the bar, 12 thrusters. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. Look at it here, picture it out. And you can kind of figure out the density of the workout there. So let's talk about the workout total volume to begin with. There are 144 burpees over the bar. There are 72 cleans. There are 72 thrusters at increasing loads. So the difficulty increases each round. And obviously that will become the roadblock for so many people. The first thing that I think of, it takes me back to the open workout 2014.1 perhaps, 21, 18, 15, 12, 9, 6, 3 of thruster and burpees. And in that workout, that was repeated at some point down to 20-minute time cap, but originally it was 40. And there are 84 total thrusters and 84 total burpees in that workout. And I cannot forget the amount of people that got rhabdomyolysis back in 2014. So is that going to be the same sort of scenario that we see now with there being 144 burpees over the bar? Obviously, you're not going to get through all of them as a majority. 72 thrusters, which is near the same amount back then. And of those thrusters, the majority of those are heavier than that initial barbell. I digress. You having a 16-minute time cap heavily reduces, I guess, the susceptibility to get to that point, because you're going to be nullified by the time itself. You're only going to be out on the floor for that long. Also with the heavy barbell, you're probably not going to be working as fast and have to have some breaks in there somewhat. So here we go with a little bit of a breakdown. I've broken this workout down into 3 phases. And in phase 1 is obviously the first section. It's engine focused and controlled management or time management. In phase 2, the second section of the workout, it is lactate threshold. How well can you manage the lactate within the body and continue to move? And in phase 3, the final section, it is all about survival. The only difference here is that the survival mode, actually, those phases kind of condensed down a little bit within those first 2 brackets. For anyone outside of semifinals athletes, you're going to be in survival mode at about the 10-minute mark, and you're only going to be in the second set. So those are the things to consider going through the workout. And just from that notion alone, I'm sure you've seen other things online about how to get through it. It's a pure aerobic pacing workout. Smooth and controlled on the burpees, and I would say start out the workout with your 150 burpee pace in mind. So for you to go out on the floor and do 150 reps for time, that's the type of speed you should be going at, and probably even more so at like a 200 rep burpee pace for time. And you may not know what that is, so go slower than you think to before you even start. With the cleans, it's going to be a little bit different from males and females, or with the barbell in general. The barbell is noticeably lighter in comparison to the females than the males. I don't think this is a one-to-one comparison, like how should we compare males and females. You just females versus females, males versus males in terms of pacing and control of this workout. Naturally, the barbell load for the ladies is going to have a lighter plate on it that you're not allowed to drop in your local gyms, so you're going to be more focused on a touch and go barbell. And unless you're in that elite bracket, break those up into sets, but still do them touch and go, right? So for some of you, it'll be 12 in one go. For some of you, it might be 5, 4, 3, and for others, it might be 4 sets of 3, something like that. Now on the male side, there is a better opportunity for you to go singles because you can drop the barbell. Furthermore, if you have dead stop Olympic lifting plates, then you can definitely drop singles and the bar won't bounce around on you, and you can have better control at starting and initiating the second rep, at least when you want to, rather than having to wait for the barbell to drop and or chase it around the floor. The thruster, kind of the same thing. You are picking numbers and sets that you can go and hold on to. I think it will pay to have a plan, and if you're unsure, do less. It's not so much about how much you can do in a set, it's about how small a time you can mitigate of having rest time where there's not movement in your workout. So I'm sure we know by now the saying motion is motion. Well, yeah, moving is getting reps. You're still accruing reps if you're still moving. So when the barbell is on the ground, there are no reps being achieved in your workout, but bigger sets mean bigger rests and it's harder to come back from. So it'll spike the heart rate. This is where the workout gets really, really tough. Performing those thrusters elevates the heart rate immensely, and and then it's very, very hard to bring that back down. And you have to go into a continuous monostructural movement after that, which is a burpee, and that's continual heart rate as well. So yeah, you really want to try to control that for as long as possible, and the real test of this workout is how well you can bounce back. So it's the recovery after the thrusters. Can you get into and initiate your burpees immediately? And can you sustain somewhat of a moderate pace in a forever system? The energy systems that you're going to be using in this workout, clearly it's an aerobic system workout with that long time domain. The burpees and the light barbell cycling definitely fall into that category. And the goal there is oxygen management. So you're just trying to take it nice and smooth. The second energy system is the glycolytic system, and that starts when the barbell starts to get pretty impactful. Like if it's say 40 to 50% of your 1 rep max or more thruster, then that's definitely going to hit you. You're going to have to use some, high power rate of force development to get through the barbell repetition. And at that point, the thrust is going to create lactate accumulation and a breathing crisis. And that's going to hit you furthermore into the burpees and then the cleans thereafter. The final thing here is neuromuscular fatigue. So the final rounds, we're going to have the quad burn, we're going to have shoulder fatigue, and you're going to have burpee jump fatigue. And it may cause you wanting to step over the barbell or not even wanting to jump at all. We've seen on Danielle Brandon's live announcement workout that the final burpee over the bar on the second load, she stepped over the bar, got no rep, and had to repeat that burpee. And that tells you a lot. If she's peaked all week just for this, not only this workout, but the whole competition of Waterpalooza, her legs are gassed up. There's a lot of lactate, not only in the quads from the thrusters, but also the hamstrings, low back, posterior chain from thruster, from the clean sit-up position, from the receiving of the barbell position, and then also just that hinge pike position out of the burpee. The degree of difficulty per movement. So you've got your burpee, your clean, and your thruster. Your burpee is low skill. The limiter is your heart rate. The clean is a moderate difficulty of the movement, and especially at those given loads. And your limiter will be the grip plus your speed and repeatability. So how, quick can you get back to the barbell and still achieve some repetitions? Finally, the thruster movement, it's high fatigue. And then the lungs, the legs, heart rate, and mental fatigue will be your limitations here. In terms of on the open scale of workouts, the degree of difficulty of those movements, I've kind of categorized those: skill, strength, engine, and pacing complexity. Skill is very low skill, not a ton of skill. Positional, yes, having good access to front rack range of motion, and in the bottom of the squat is going to be very impactful to how you get through the thrusters and the damage taken on board. Strength, moderate, later in the piece, very important. That's going to be more for the elite athletes on that note. The engine, extremely high, and then the pacing complexity, very high. So the pacing complexity for me is of the utmost importance, and the overall degree of difficulty of this workout, I've given it a solid 10 out of 10. And the challenge of this whole workout is your fatigue management, movement capacity, combined with your aerobic engine. Now, what's going to blow people up? Going too fast too early. We know that. The burpee volume punishes redlining, so you just have to stay level-headed. Aerobic endurance. This is the biggest predictor of your limitation, and the deeper you get into the workout, it will become strength-focused for the thruster and all the cleans. Thruster failure. Missed thrusters equals huge time loss, grip fatigue, holding on the bar too long on your cleans. Why athletes will get stuck? 3 physiological reasons here. Burpee volume saturation. 144 burpees is huge. In comparison, past workouts on the open, I've got 21.2, 60 burpees, 22.1, 60 burpees, 23.2A, 100 burpees. So 144 is brutal. And at a decent clip, 4 seconds per rep is 48 seconds a round of burpees. 5 seconds a rep is 60 seconds a round, so it's a minute. 3 seconds is 36, so there's a decent pace you're going to have to be pushing just on the burpees, and stay calm. The thruster lactate wall. There's 6 sets of thrusters in this workout. Now, I don't imagine that a lot of people see past 4 sets of thrusters, but even that in itself, there will be 48 repetitions up until that point. Creates a lot of repeated quad saturation, and obviously the lactate and tension in the quads. And by the time athletes hit the last kind of 5 minutes of the workout, if you're not here already, heart rate's 185, 195, and for a lot of you, it's going to be about 200 BPMs. I would say 99% of us are going to be beyond 200 BPMs. And it's just about how long can you manage that and stay away from that. Transition density. So there are 24 movement transitions if you're trying to get through this whole workout, and each transition costs time. The elites, they're going 1 to 2 seconds per transition, and then the later barbells, 5+ seconds, and even on a break on that as well. Advanced athletes, 5 to 7 seconds. So that's initiating, picking up your bar after the burpee, or getting into the burpee after your barbell. And the intermediate athletes, there's time to rest, 12 to 15 seconds. But even on the best side of things, 48 seconds of transition time at best, 120 seconds in the lower side of best, and then up to 5 minutes for intermediate athletes. So you can just see how much transition time there is, and that's not including the rest time within a given set. It's just how long it takes to start the next movement at the completion point of the current movement. So there's a bunch more things that we could talk about. I'm going to leave it there. If you want, send us a DM and comment through to our channels, and we can send you off all of our pacing charts, our target timers, and all of the workout breakdowns, energy systems, warm-ups, strategies, and how you should navigate it, and based off of your level. 26.3 to round out the season of the CrossFit Open. Let's get after it.